Oh man, that's not a good one here. Here we go. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. Got a story out of England, but it has to do with every single person around the world, and I'm going to explain that in a second. It's entitled Bank of England Official Says $1 trillion in pension fund investments could have been wiped out without intervention. It says a top Bank of England official confirmed for the first time that worries that a popular pension fund investment would collapse prompted the intervention by the central bank to buy bonds at a time when it was planning to sell them. All right. Now, we all know the Bank of England stepped in to intervene into its stock market, bond market, and currency market about a week and a half ago. And it is very important that you understand this very simple fundamental. Everyone's pensions are at risk as this global economy crumbles. And the reason why is because your pension is based on the value of bonds and stocks. That is it. And that is why the last couple of times, both in 2001 and 2008, governments intervened to prop up the stock market because it wasn't just shareholder losses that they were concerned about, it was pension funds. Now the thing is many people around the world have now grown up in the last 20 years and said, at any point this happens again, they'll just bail it out. They'll figure out a way. They'll just buy up investments. They'll buy up, assets that are troubled, and they'll prop up the pension system. Here's the problem. With fiat money creation, it is very important to know that there is an end date. There's a point where the people that are buying those distressed assets say, screw this, we're not doing anymore. Why? Because it's becoming more and more worthless, because every time money is created to buy these assets, these distressed assets in pension funds, and there's more money created, it becomes less valuable, right? Because inflation increases. Well, the problem is it has grown exponentially since the year 2000, since the dot-com bubble burst, till now. It is the money supply around the world has grown so much that it is becoming more and more worthless because every single bailout has to be larger. That's why they created what's called a bail-in with banks. It's a whole nother topic. We've talked about that, where you're an unsecured creditor of a bank. So if a bank has trouble, instead of going to the Federal Reserve or a central bank or a government to bail it out, now the bank can legally take every depositor's, a certain percentage of their cash to make their bank whole again. And they'll just in turn give you worthless bank stock. And it would be worthless because the bank's falling apart, right? So my point being is that it is very, very important. And I'm going to link this story below because this is one of their reasons. Hey, this is why we did this. This is why we devalued your currency more, because if we didn't do it, your pension will be worthless. But the problem is most people don't realize as fiat currencies die, and they usually last around 40 years. As a matter of fact, this version, and I say version of the US dollar because it's had 3 or 4 different versions in the last century. This version of the dollar is the longest lasting fiat currency in on record of this actual current 100 years around the world. And so it is well overdue for a full-blown reset, right? And every time a currency is reset, people lose money. And it's the average person that loses money, not the wealthy people, because they're into different assets like gold and things of value, real estate. In a way, they know that when it resets, they are good. As a matter of fact, they usually pick up purchasing power from the poor and middle class because of it, all right? You need to start pretending like your pension's not going to be there. What I mean by pretending, I started doing this in 2010. I read the Prophecy 2016 from Robert Kiyosaki, completely understood what it meant, and I started to pretend like I didn't have a pension coming. So I started to build my own pension. I started to get out of debt. I bought assets that made me money, cash flow, things like that. So valuable, because if and when, I believe when the day comes that your pension goes kaput and it goes to nothing, either through inflation because your pension hasn't changed, you're still making, let's say, $40,000 or $50,000 a year, maybe $150,000 a year, depending on how rich you are per year in your pension. Since everything's tripled in price, it's like you didn't barely even get one anyway. It's just pissing in the wind. Very similar to what's going on with Social Security right now. And this is very important. People that rely on Social Security, it's a fixed income. That is not going up. It's nowhere near staying up with inflation. Even if you think those cost of living, those COLA raises are worth it, they're not. And people need to understand, if you will pretend like you don't have a pension right now, and I know there's a lot of people that don't, okay, I'm going to get those comments in the comment section, but if you'll sit there and go, hey, you know what, my pension may not be around, so I'm going to take that as cream on the top, all right? I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy myself assets. I'm going to get out of debt. And the number one thing that I see when I used to counsel people and consult with people on how to get out of debt, how to be able to retire, was if they would just simply pay off their house rather than buying toys, they would be able to retire so much smoother, so much easier. But it's that house payment that's usually dragging people down from being and keeping them at work because they got them into something that they couldn't manage. So while you have a job right now, this is the time to start cranking away at that. And don't believe all the hype. We're like, hey, these are super low rates and you can do all this stuff. Unless you're using those super low rates to make you money, cash flow, not appreciation on your home, but cash flow, like real estate that is making you money because of rents flowing in, then it's not worth it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm getting completely out of debt. I have one last debt left, and I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm in front of all of you, and I would be a hypocrite if I wasn't doing that. And I still believe in cash flow real estate. I do that in multiple entities. I do that where the business has the debt, not myself. I want to set up my family for success, and I want you guys set up for success also. So guys, I'm going to link this story below because this has to do with every single person around the world that has a pension, all right, a retirement account. This is very important. Your 401ks, your pension, everything is tied to the stock market and the bond market. And right now, if you believe that the stock market and bond market are on shaky grounds, you need to start to take action right now to prepare for the fact that that pension may not be worth what you thought it was when you first got the job. All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.